Hey guys, welcome back. It's your brother in Christ, Weston. Thanks for joining me today. So today's article comes out of Now the End Begins. Let's get into it. Okay, in all things New World Order, Antichrist. Man, this is obviously one of my favorite topics to talk about when it comes to just Bible prophecies. What actually drew me into like really studying hard outside of salvation and learning about Jesus. So let's talk about it. United Nations calls for 7 years of accelerated, sustained, and transformative action for a global rescue plan to save humanity. Listen to all those words. United Nations, one nation, calls for 7 years of accelerated, sustained, and transformative action for global rescue plan to save humanity. Interesting. Sounds a lot like Bible prophecy. One world rulers, great tribulation, got to accelerate, sustain, and transformative action. Got to do wild things to make sure that we can maintain for the next 7 years. And global rescue plan sounds like you're trying to be like Jesus to save humanity. Come on. It says here, ever look up the number 7 in your King James Bible? If you do, I've done this, obviously, you'll see some truly dazzling things. 7 is God's number of completeness. That's right. That's right. He rests on the seventh day. One of the many things, he says, because he was finished. One of the many things that come in 7 is the time of Jacob's trouble. Exactly. A 7-year period in which God will judge the world in general, and Jews in particular, and the global cleanup operation before the return of Jesus Christ on a white horse. Right. People at the United Nations don't believe the Bible, but they love putting it on their buildings to make you think they do. Of course, if you want Bible that shows you the future of the UN, then Zephaniah 3 verse 8 in your KJV Bible is it's just that 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city. That can't just be, this is Daniel, by the way. That cannot be Gentiles, right? Listen to the way it's been worded and the way it's prophetic for sure. So it's not right now, but upon thy people and thy holy city. So I mean the two are together, thy people and thy holy city, right? So you could say thy people in terms of like all believers, or it could be 70 weeks are determined, right? These are the weeks that are going to be determined against Jerusalem. And we'll see right here, is to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring into everlasting righteousness, to seal up the vision and prophecy and anoint the most holy. This is talking about Israel. This is for sure talking about Israel as a whole. Now, the United Nations is calling for a 7-year rescue plan to save our global society. And how will that be accomplished? By creating 15-minute cities, right? Banning the consumption of all meat for white people. That's crazy. Ingesting insects, we've talked about that. And doing these guys, right, for global population, mealworm tacos. Ew. And giving everyone a digital ID, right? That's the plan. It's to consolidate all these things, and yeah, because you gotta save humanity, right? We need 7 years of accelerated transformative action to achieve SDGs. I'm not sure what that stands for. From the UN report of Secretary General on progress towards Sustainable Development Goals. Got it. Draws on the latest data to sound the alarm for action of roughly 140 targets with data that is about 12% on track to be achieved by 2030. Close to half of those showing the progress are moderately or severely off track, and some 30% have either seen no movement or regressed below the 2015 baseline. Giving up on the SDGs or extending the deadline to meet them is not an option. The world has been rocked by a series of interlinked crises. The man-made C word that has 1819 conflict, climate crisis, weak global economy, right? Because the dollar's fading and we have a war going on, and it seems like a manufactured crisis after another, you know, with the C word, and then this war, and then CBDCs, and somehow giving all this money to Ukraine, and just somehow we're giving even more. We had a misstep, and now we're giving $6 billion or something like that to them. It seems like you're trying to get all this cash out to bring in something. That's exactly the way I see it. It all seems like it's on purpose. Like it's not just made up or just happening. It's all on purpose, not by accident. Recommitting the 2030 agenda is the best roadmap out of these crises, but we are now fast running out of time to correct course. Even before the events of the past 3 years, trust in public institutions have been declining for decades. Changes in the world work, globalization, technological breakthroughs, which raise aspirations but also fears, have left many in precarious positions. There's a narrowing window of opportunity over the next 7 years to redouble our efforts to eliminate poverty, hunger, that's crazy, advance rendering equality, and overcome the triple planetary crisis. Okay. Failure to heed this will fuel greater political instability and displacement, further erode trust in the public institutions, upend economies, and lead to irreversible existential changes to our natural environment. Above all, it will cause immense suffering for current and future generations, especially among the world's poorest and most vulnerable people of the countries. Making the SDG summit turning point. September 2023 must signal a genuine turning point. Wow, I can't wait to see what happens there. It must mobilize the political commitment and breakthroughs of our world desperately needs. It must deliver a rescue plan for our people and the planet. Wow, thanks guys for saving us. I really appreciate it. I didn't ask you to save me, and you're not helping me either. At the center of the rescue plan, heads of the state government must recommit to 7 years of accelerated, sustained, transformative action, both national and international, to deliver on the promise of SDGs. Leaders can show the resolve by adopting an ambitious, forward-looking political declaration at the SDG summit, presenting global and national commitments for the SDG transformation. That's a mouthful. Delivering a change at the speed and scale required to achieve SDGs by 2030 will demand political leaders make bold decisions to master ambitions. If it will require transferring resources from one sector to another, creating new regulatory environments, deploying new technologies, social crediting systems, digital IDs, what is this? Quantum dot tattoo. Think about it. Mobilizing of the wide range of actors, advanced disruptive change. Doing so can strengthen trust and social cohesion, so the society can come as a whole, and then they can trust their institutions that have been lying. These efforts must be funneled towards securing dignity, opportunity, and rights for all, reiterating economies through green, climate, and digital money, IDs, transitions, and towards resilient trajectories compatible with 1.5C goal of the Paris Agreement on climate change. How much more is this? Okay. It's not too late to turn things around. The generation is equipped with knowledge and technologies and resources unprecedented in history, breaking through to a better future for all demands, blah, 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 blah. Sounds like a whole bunch of lies. So United Nations proposes a 7-year rescue plan. There's a video here of the UN chief on climate, and you see him here. I'll hopefully put a picture. So when I read this, that's the first time I've actually read this, sorry. Is that thunder? Maybe? I just hear a bunch of New World Order, New World Order, New World Order. Slave, slave, slave. Do, conform, conform, conform. And if you don't, dead, dead, dead. You are out of here. It's what happened in 2020 when you were talking about when the research analysts, okay, the ones who were always right, we'll call them research analysts, were lost their jobs, were pressured into taking things they didn't have to take, and some did, lost their businesses, lost their livelihoods, were called every name in the book, treated as second-rate, third-rate citizens in the land of the free. Didn't want to wear these guys, didn't want to take these guys, all that, right? What do you think is going to happen when you don't want to do this? Our whole world's about to implode, and it's you, right? And then guess what? The aliens, the fake aliens, right, are going to come and take us all away, right? Because we're not helping the earth. Antichrist is going to show up. Something, but this is the same thing. It's the same hamster wheel I've been talking about. Insert crisis. It's a cloak and dagger kind of thing, right? Give problem, also give the solution. The same people who are giving the problem are giving the solution. They're creating the problem, right? You just can't keep doing this until you get to your objective, and it's a hamster wheel, right? And you're caught in the midst of it. And until our ideas, our ideologies, and our desires and what we want come to fruition, which is a new world order, a one world government, a one world currency, a one world ruler, a one world religion. That means CBDCs, 15-minute cities, AI taking over plenty of jobs, aliens showing up, right? Aliens, right? Project Bluebeam-esque, when really they're fallen angels, to create some kind of disaster, a war that's happening, and that we are funneling money towards, and then crumbling that economic system, housing crisis market, service markets, electrical grids, CBDCs, watching your transactions, being able to stop your transactions, social crediting systems. You talk bad about the new president or whatever, something that people don't like that's that brings social cohesion, then you guys, your social credit score goes down, and now you can't leave your house. You can't go 15 minutes here or 15 minutes there. You have to stay in this certain area. You can't buy these certain places. All the meat facilities and all the that happened last year. Tons of plants were burned. Just random. Don't forget this earlier this year what we had with the whole oil spills of tankers. No, excuse me, not tankers. Railroads. How does that happen? Don't forget, these things just go under the radar, and we are so caught up in our freedom, and which is great, that we forget that some of these things are literally, they're massive. And then what happens is just the world is really good about crumbling those things into little tiny breadcrumbs to make you forget, because you're already caught with the next thing. Squirrel, like that, right? Talking about squirrel. What aliens? What? TCU, pin the people again. See what I'm saying? I said TCU because I just made a video on this about them doing drag racing courses at a Christian university. Wild. It literally, your attention span is so short, and this is what social media does. This is what it's done to me as well. And it just limits the amount of attention span that we have, and our brain can only hold so much. So that it's almost like you're literally being programmed to become numb to just some of these things, and it's expected at this point. New planet. Now we find these things in the sun. Under the water. Whoa, ghosts and spirits. Whoa, and all this time, evil's happening. You're being trapped, and I don't know how to put it in words the way I feel about it. It's all a facade to allow these things to happen so people can go on about their days. They can see it and forget it, right? And that's exactly what they want to happen, until something happens to when you really see it. When the big thing happens, it was because of all these little red flags, massive red flags actually. But the one that they're going to show you is going to be the big one they're all going to focus on and want everybody to focus on so they can all unite, right? And that's how you implement all these systems. 5G this, quantum dot tattoos, these guys. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, when I hear that 7-year rescue plan saving humanity, I immediately think of the Great Tribulation. So anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you all think about this. This is nuts. And I'll see you in the next one.